I go inside the beat, take a little sip, then I vision how I'ma ride the beat. Let the vocals out, now you witnessing a survivor speak. I done messed around and went viral right from my driver's seat. Just like what the industry was containing. I'd rather make a difference instead of hating, complaining. So let me park the whip, it don't matter, rapper or model chick, singer or comedian, perfect. Let's park in politics. Hey, let's park in politics. Welcome to the pullover, let's park in politics. This the pullover, let's park in politics. I say this the pullover, let's park in politics.
What's going on, everybody? Lockoutmen back again with another one. How you guys doing out there? Y'all doing all right? Y'all doing all right? I hope y'all doing all right. Yo, I am back, just now made it out of Dallas, so now I'm on the way down the road. But along the way, I came across my guest right here, Keesley. But before we get into all of that, welcome to the Lockoutmen podcast show where we park and politic with all our guests today. I am your host, Lockoutmen, and today's guest is, if I'm pronouncing your name right, Keesley. Keesley? Kelsey. See there? I messed up already. See, I'm beating people's names up already. That's what I do over here. So I'm going to apologize to you. I'm going to apologize to you beforehand because throughout this duration, I know I'm going to beat it up. So, Kelsey.
Yeah.
All right. Is that short for something or is that your full name right there?
That's it. They like to keep it short and sweet, I guess.
All right. So Kelsey, I see you out there bit dogging it out there. You driving a Conestoga, but it's still a flatbed, right?
Yeah, it's just a permanently covered flatbed.
Now the way the setup and the securement is the same though, right?
Yeah, it's the same as regular beds. We just don't have to throw tarps for every load.
All right. So the Conestoga is it hand cranked or is it auto? Is it electric or what?
It's on a rolling system, and you just have like a crank in the front that locks it, and then you can unlock it from there, and in the back, so it'll slide from the back to the front or the front to the back, depending on how we have to put something.
All right, so let's go ahead and get it. Life before trucking, man. Tell the people who you are and where do you call home.
Well, my name's Kelsey, and I call Texas home. I'm originally from California, though. I don't really like to brag about that, but yeah.
I see. Love me some Texas. I'm down here now. I am down here now. What? Oh, man. Shout out to Texas, man.
So I love Texas.
So you're originally from California. What made you move from the Sunshine State down here to Texas? Now, Texas ain't bad either weather-wise, except for a couple of weeks ago, which we'll probably touch on that. But what made you move from California to Texas?
It was one of those, like, my family, because it was like right after high school for me. It was like the family was in a phase of like, hey, we're either figuring out a different place to live because we were living. It was just getting worse and worse with like the type of people that were moving in. It was like drugs and all that stuff coming in, and that's just not how we wanted to live. And so it's either, okay, move somewhere else in Cali or just completely move and find something better for an overall situation. So we picked on Texas because my brother was stationed in Texas. So we went out and visited him, and we always loved it when we visited. So we just decided on Texas.
So this you yourself or you and your entire family, like your mom's husband, kids?
So it was my mom and dad and I. We all just kind of picked up and moved to good old Texas.
Man, I mean, did you guys do any? Did you guys just picked up and move, or you guys just did some research, got the house first, or the ranch, or the apartment, and then y'all just came down here? What was the setup of coming down here?
We were definitely like a wing it kind of family. we kind of made the family decision, like, hey, we're moving. So we kind of picked, okay, where we want to go. And my brother lived in Dallas. And so we're like, well, we like to be close to him, but we still like to be out in the country. So we just kind of looked on a map and did like a radius around it and started looking at places and put the house on the market. And it was bought in like 4 days. And we're like, all right, well, we have to actually do something now. So my mom, she started applying to jobs and she had like tons of interviews for like the next week. So we literally packed her up in her car and she went to Texas and stayed with my brother and me and my dad. He was still at the end of his like working right before retirement. So he's finishing up there and so he just packed up the house and then came to Texas and started looking for houses and found something.
Where you stay at? You say you want to stay close to your brother, which he's in Dallas. So where are you guys at in conjunction to that?
Like East Texas area, so like Canton off 20 kind of area.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. So it's still,
So
it's all the distance, but it's still within reason of driving.
now, a couple of weeks ago, you guys had a tragic storm, which kind of turned Texas up on his head because I don't think that you guys ever seen or witnessed a storm of that magnitude that turned you guys upside down. What effect did that have on your family as far as the damages or anything?
So we were very fortunate. So my brother's house in Dallas, he's like one of three houses in his entire block that kept, electric and water the entire time. And so he was really lucky. My mom, her house, they kept the electricity the whole time, but the town's like main water broke and like froze up and everything. So they were smart, they prepared, they bought a whole bunch of things before the storms actually hit. So they were good and they had, bottled water and all that stuff so they could get by. But we actually got really lucky. They just, stayed at the house and just kind of chilled out and had cabin fever for a while.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man. You stay with your parents or do you stay by yourself?
So actually it's my dad passed, but my mom and my aunt live together. And since I'm only home like once a month or so for a few days, I just crash there.
Oh, okay,
And it's just
okay.
easier because I can keep all my stuff one place and they watch my dog and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of works out pretty well.
All right. How long you been a truck driver?
This year I am starting my 6th year.
Six.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations for you on that.
Well, thank
That's
you.
that's
Thank
that's
you.
what's up.
Yeah.
So before trucking though, what you
Mhm.
were doing before trucking?
Well, my initial goal after high school was to do like a medical field and be a nurse. I actually took courses in high school that had, college credit for, medical office work. And then my dad got sick, and so I kind of went full time taking care of him. And I kind of got like the real world side of it. And I realized I get attached to people too easily, and I would not be very good at separating like the work and home life. Because the people that he would go to clinics and stuff with, I'd get attached to them and not even know the people. And like if something happened with them, like I would feel that kind of, drain and stuff. So I realized it really wasn't for me, even though I enjoyed the medical side of things. Um, and
Um. All right. So you was speaking on taking care of your father before I blacked out.
uh-huh.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't catch none of that when you say you was taking care of your father.
Okay, yeah. So original game plan was to be a nurse when I was younger. Dad got sick, took care of him, and then I kind of realized that I got attached to people very easily. So like when he'd go to clinics and stuff, I'd get attached to the people that he was with. And I realized I couldn't separate like the home life and work life. So I didn't think it was really a good path for me. And so then I switched and when we moved to Texas, we started selling animals and raising animals. And then I had an offer to be a nanny for some kids, actually for a truck driver. And I took that up and realized it kind of was a limited thing because they were getting older.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, my buddy actually was telling me about how he was getting his CDL, and we could go to Cdl School and get it. And I was like, well, that sounds kind of cool. And so I just kind of took the jump and made it happen.
So it says here in your bio that you said that your
Hmm.
mom was a truck driver.
Yeah. Back in, I think it was like the early '80s or so. Like she was like an OG truck driver in the international cab over and all.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah. So she did it for a couple years.
she did it for a couple of years. So she didn't. So she didn't. Well, for a couple of years. How long? How long altogether?
I think she said it was like 2.5 years. Like it was a brief time, but she said she loved it, and it's kind of cool hearing stories from her. So it kind of made me want to do it even more.
What was kind of you said that you like to hear some of the stories that your mom would tell you of her over the road journey. What was some of the stories from back in the day? I mean, I'm sure it's totally different from what it is today.
Oh, it definitely is, and like I'll explain things now, and she's like, "Yeah, that had nothing to do with what we did back in the day. It's a completely different ball game now." But just the things that she got to see and check out that if you're not a trucker, you're not really going to be able to see those.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like little things like that, like the areas that she would travel and she'd tell me, "Oh, yeah, it's really pretty here. It's really pretty there," that kind of thing. Because I loved, the nature and the surroundings kind of thing. So that kind of stuff was like, "Oh, hey, I could do that and I could get paid to travel. That's pretty cool."
So you went to school. Did you go to school? Did you go to a trucking company?
I went through a CDL school itself that like leased a building on actually Warner's um was it property in Dallas?
Okay. So
And
what? So
yeah.
it was a. Was it Roadrunner or was it a different school?
I can't remember exact. I think it was like Truck Drivers Institute or something along the lines of that.
Okay. Out of
Yeah.
pocket.
I actually got a loan because it was like 5 or 6 grand, and um, I quit my job because it was just getting to a bad situation with the whole nanny thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, I don't make much money doing this at all. What am I gonna do? My dad's like, well, I'll pay for you to get going and stuff. So I had a buddy that lived close by that I could crash at his place. I went to school and got my license and paid dad back. But yeah, I just I did the loan thing because it was a lot easier.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. So
Hmm.
what was the first company that you went with?
So I got on at U.S. Express for my first
Oh,
company.
oh, stop it. Stop it. No. No.
It got me the experience because I
That,
didn't
that's
know
how
anything about this.
That's how I feel. I feel the same way. I'm not a fan
Yeah.
of U.S. Express, but it did get me my experience for the 2 years. How you said 6 years of trucking. So how many companies that you went from between now and the current company that you're with?
So I did 3 years. I was just ending the third year basically when I was with U.S. Express, and then I applied to the job I have now. So I've only
Uh,
worked for two companies.
okay, okay, okay.
I'm a
You,
loyal one.
so U.S. Express, you put in some major time there. What was your
Oh yeah.
experience? What was your experience throughout the whole ordeal with U.S. Express?
I mean, I don't really have anything that is, very negative in general. I mean, they have, some bad things I don't agree with, but every company's like that. I will say though, they were really amazing when I was going through the stuff with like losing my dad because it was like I was working, but I was also visiting him, and we knew what time it was and stuff. So I will say this: they were very amazing about not bothering me with taking time off to be there with my family and stuff. So I will give them that for that. But I just personally feel, in my opinion, it's either a starter company, a teaming company, or a training company. As a solo driver, I don't feel like you'll do amazingly well unless you can find one of the very few gems of a dedicated thing that
Right,
actually
right.
pays worth the work you're doing.
Exactly. That's how that's
Yeah.
how I feel the same way about US Express. Either team
Mhm.
training or a new jack that's coming in. Other than that, if you're an experienced driver, you probably might want to look at their variant line, because they just started that. Speaking of
Yeah.
variant, was you there? Was you? Well, my next question is, since you left U.S. Express and went to the
Mhm.
current company where you was at, what you was looking for as far as looking for the next company, and why you didn't look
Well,
towards variant.
well, I was honestly just trying to find something that my original idea was just to be home all the time, so I would go
Hmm.
completely local and stuff. Um, and honestly, I was taking on new responsibilities, and so I was like, I need to have something that actually pays me better. Um, and I couldn't do that with US Express. So I was just applying different places, and I wasn't really game planning for a certain type of freight or a certain type of company. I just wanted something that was solid, had good benefits, and I could be home. Very basics. And then a buddy of mine who actually works at the company that I applied to, he's like, "Hey, you should really apply here because you do well." And I was like, "Well, I don't have flatbed experience, so they're not going to take me." And he was just hounding and hounding, just bugging the crap out of me. So I was like, you know what? I'll apply just to shut you up, even though I'll get rejected, but just to shut you up, I'll apply. And he called one of the recruiter at the time, and he was like, "Hey, you should look at this application." And I got a call the next day after I applied, and we set things up, and then I put my 2 weeks in and flew to Minnesota and started at my new company.
All right. So now, being that this is flatbed, you never did
Mhm.
flatbed. I mean, because U.S. Express is strictly drive-in. But when you got to doing flatbed, with the behest of your friend that keep asking you to come over, uh, what is it like for a female flatbedder?
I don't think it's very different than it is for male. It's just, well, typically females are shorter, so sometimes you have to make some adjustments to be able to reach some things, or, in general, strength-wise, physically, we're technically, usually a little bit weaker than men. So you just have to like kind of learn how to move things or get, certain stances for certain things, um, to make it where you don't need anyone's help to do it.
Okay, okay. So throughout the 3 years of your driving, what do you find fun about driving a truck?
Um, a truck in general, I just like the different scenery. I mean, you get to go to some really cool places, whether you're just going by it or you're picking up or delivering. And so I feel it's kind of cool because you don't really have the same thing over and over and over.
Okay, okay. Now, throughout your 3 years of driving, have you touched all the states? What are the states that you haven't touched yet?
Well, with US Express, I actually hit all 48 within those 3 years.
Wow. All right. So out of all the 48, of course you're from California and Texas, but
Hmm.
out of the 48 that you touch, which one of those that you find the most enjoyment in?
I love the mountains. So I honestly do enjoy like Oregon, Washington, Montana area, especially right now when it's like it's cooler and there might be some snow, but they've handled it. So, roads are pretty good. But I actually really enjoy the mountains.
No, you can have the mountains. I'm good on that. I am
I
good.
just enjoy that, like it's just peaceful for me, It's just you're not going to deal with tons of city traffic. You're not going to deal with, the suburbs of everything. You just have the open and you just drive. And so that's why I
Yeah,
really enjoyed out there.
yeah. Nah, you're good with the mountains. I'm all right.
You're not gonna
Uh,
fight me for them?
I'm okay with the mountains. How many
Alright, I guess.
out of your 3 years of driving, you know how many miles that you put in so far,
Um, as far as here or the
or
US Express 3?
well, both places, both places.
Honestly, I don't keep track of that things. I mean, I probably should, but I run all year long. I go home for a few days a month. Um, sometimes, like with COVID or some other things, I was out for like 2 or 3 months, and it just kind of depends. But I'm usually pretty much always running. But I don't think to keep track of the numbers, to be honest.
Now you sound like you're a pretty busy young lady. How old are you?
I just turned 29.
All right, congratulations. All right, so
Thank you.
being such a young, being at a young age and you're pretty busy, you pretty much focus on grinding. So there's no time for no relationships or anything like that.
I mean, those are hit and miss, honestly. First of all, a lot of men genuinely don't like the woman being gone, so that kind of eliminates a lot of the options. Um, and then they find out you do flatbed, and that eliminates some of the options. And I make more than some guys, so that eliminates a lot of
Yeah,
people. And I mean, it's just kind of hit and miss. I've dated while I've been driving and stuff like that, but it's just I think I'm more of a picky person on, what I want for my future, and it's just kind of hard to find that person that's like, "Oh yeah, I want the same thing." So,
exactly. Relationships in trucking is like you said, it is a hit and miss, and it is a tough thing to try to find somebody that'll roll with you and roll with your situations. But you still,
yeah.
I mean, 29 years old. I mean, you still got time. I mean, you still got time.
Oh, I'm not in a
You know,
rush. And
you
I'm one of
know.
those people that I mean, I enjoy being by myself and I enjoy being around other people, but I'm okay being alone. So, I'll date once in a while, but I'm not someone that's gonna, settle and just force myself to date someone because I'm should or do that. So it's just not worth forcing it. So it's just easier just like, oh yeah, hey, I like you, you like me, we'll date or whatever, but it's nothing set in stone, kind of
All
things.
right. So let's rewind it back a little bit. Back at US
Okay.
Express. You came in, you're fresh off the block. How was your training there? Because, the issues of females in trucking, being assaulted by their trainers is like a big issue right now. We just talked about that. So how was your training experience with your training at US Express?
Well, honestly, I've been very blessed in this industry. Um, Both times I had trainers, I only had men, and both of them were amazing. My U.S. Express one, he was a good old like Christian man who he never cussed, he never drank, he never was inappropriate, even with his jokes or anything like that. So I got super lucky with him. He was a great trainer. I think he was training at a time for like 12, 14 years or something. So he definitely had the years in to have the experience, to teach certain things. And he was really great about like, hey, realistically, as a female, you need to look out for these things, or you need to try to do this or this. He's very modern, I guess you would say, where like you don't need someone around, but if you're by yourself, this is how you need to handle things.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I got really lucky with him. He was a really great trainer.
All right, all right. So, what have you experienced any disrespectful things to you at a shipper, receiver, truck stop, or anything like that?
Um, yeah, it's mostly just, like verbal stuff. No one's actually put hands or nothing, but yeah, I mean, a lot of, especially when it's, the female that goes to a place, they're like, "Oh, we don't get female drivers in here." And it's just like, "Okay, here we go." But you kind of learn to kind of like charmingly turn people down because you don't know how they're going to react for like rejection.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're not sure if they're like, "Oh, really nice guy now," and you say no to him, he's going to be super mad and try to mess with your truck or whatever the case be, especially if you're at a truck stop. So, there's been some, and you just kind of like, "Oh, haha," and kind of like push it aside, and
Kind of, yeah,
I don't
kind of
think
wave
I
it off.
take it. Yeah, you just kind of like let it go and stuff, and the less interested you seem, the easier it is for them to kind of move on. But yeah, I mean, you definitely get it, but I'm also one of those females that understands I'm going into a very male-dominated industry,
Mm-hmm.
so I need to be prepared for those kinds of things. And I'm not one of those that's like in fear 24/7, because I don't think you're enjoying your job then. Um, But yeah, no, I mean, I've had some experiences, but they haven't been, anything to report or, cause a scene over kind of thing.
How was it? How was it after you got your first load and you got out there by yourself? How did you get over the fear of trucking?
Well, I think I got kind of lucky on that one too, because with U.S. Express, I was training for OTR, so I had an OTR driver. We went OTR. When I got my own truck, I took a load down to Houston area, and I was cool. Short run, I'll get some basic things in. I'll get it down, and then dispatch called and was like, "Hey, you're gonna help out on the dedicated runs in Houston," and I was like, "But I haven't trained for that," and they're like, "Oh, well, you'll figure it out. It's fine. They'll teach you." And I was just like, "Okay." So I did one load, and then I got thrown into doing like that pop-up driving for Walmart in Houston.
Oh, down over in which one?
Like, was it Katie, I think?
Either Katie or Case. I'm not sure, but I did the pop up out of there, and it was pretty good to me because I mean I made some money. I really did.
Oh no, the money was great, and I was like, well, shoot, I can get used to this. But it was hey, you just got comfortable in your own truck by yourself, and then here, go do 3 or 4 stops in the middle of Houston or on the outskirts.
Exactly. That's what I had to get used to because when you already used to being OTR and your clock like runs down or not quite run out. You pull over and you set up for the rest, and you think like, oh, okay, well, I did the 2 already, and I only got the 1. I can bring the 1 later after my 10-hour. No.
Oh yeah,
that's not that.
No. Yeah, and that's the thing too is when you're learning the dry van on OTR, you're learning dry van, the basics. But when you're getting like I had no experience around trucks besides what I've heard when I was growing up. So when I came into Cdl School and US Express, that was my only experience around trucks, and everything was dry van. And so they're telling you, hey, you're gonna have like 3 or 4 stops on one trailer, and it's a reefer. And I was just like, I don't know how to do that because I didn't know,
right.
The temperatures or any of the little things that they have. And then the like fleet manager for that account, I guess you would call him. He was really great. I will give him that too. He was really great. I had a really great interaction with him. He was very willing to answer my questions because I explained to him. I was like, I have no idea how to do this stuff. So I don't want to screw the company up and me and us lose money or I mess something up. So, but he was really great. I learned, the stops and the pulling the stickers off and all that kind of stuff and how to, temperatures and all that kind of thing. So I got really good at backing really early because I didn't have a choice. Because I was, you're doing the 3 or 4 stops per trailer, and if they're local, you're doing 2 trailers a night sometimes.
Right.
And so you really learned how to back very, very quickly.
Very, very
and
quickly.
in some very difficult places that are not made for sleeper trucks.
And these new the Walmarts now, they're kind of like getting hip. They don't even want trucks in their parking lots no more. So they going and installing these 10-foot, 6-foot barriers that go across when you come in. You gotta literally go around the block, come up around the cut, go up under the hood, and all like that to come in the back side of the these Walmarts. I mean, it is crazy how it is now. I mean, back then when I did it, I mean, it was all gravy. Come up in the parking lot, go around the back, bam, bam, boom. But now, now these Walmarts is trying to cut us from resting, sleeping in their parking lots and all like that, and they just start making these barriers, and it's just making it hard for us to even come around. Then we got to get out of the truck. We got to get out of the truck. We got to go and find the person, the receiver person, or whatever the person, especially if it's like doing the if it's during the day, it's not a problem. Ring the bell, somebody gonna answer the door. But at night, you literally got to, like, if that Walmart is in a plaza or something like that, you literally have to walk a country mile to come inside. And then when you gotta ask everybody and their mama, on, can you come and open the back door? Who are you? I'm the truck driver. I got your delivery. Oh, okay. Well, we got to call Tom. We got to call Frank. We got to call Linda. Oh, Jesus Christ.
And Tom, Frank, and Linda aren't in there, and they haven't been in there for 4 hours, and they're the ones with the keys for something.
Exactly. Exactly, man.
And that always blew my mind, too. I was like, you guys get deliveries every single day, all day long. How is this, like, new to you guys? Like, your whole job is shipping and receiving. I don't understand that concept.
They only have one job. That's all they got. You only got one job, man. All right, so for the 3 years that you've been rocking out, Kelsey. See, I got it. There you go. There you go. For the 3 years that you've been driving, how many times have you been pulled over by DOT?
I think maybe. I mean, I got pulled over once by a bobtail just because he flat out was like, "Hey, this is an easy inspection. You're gonna pass. I can already tell from your truck. But hey, let's just knock it out so we can go watch the Super Bowl." I was like, "Cool, let's do it." And so he pulled me over, did a real quick inspection, and like the basic ones. I get maybe a handful of them, but it's just usually, let's check your paperwork and do like the basic, lights and stuff like that. But I have, knock on this fake wood on the door, I've not gotten pulled into like a full-blown inspection, going into the bays, all that kind of stuff. Usually it's pretty quick,
here.
just like, yeah, just an easy one.
Now you driving a spread axle, flatbed, right? Which of course the turn radius is different, and you're not able to slide it. So how is that variance going into the weigh stations and stuff like that?
Well, actually, our trailers are 53 footers, but we can close our spread. So when I do go to Cali, I have to have it closed, and Connecticut too. So I can close it, but in general, I leave it open all the time. But you just kind of learn, like basically like when you're starting out from the very beginning, you just learn out your layouts differently. So my truck and trailer, when it's backed up to a curb, is usually going to stick out a little bit further than the people next to me. So you just make sure you leave yourself enough room to line up and have like the swing so your hood can go around and not hitting someone across from you. I just feel like you have to pay attention more because you're not able to pivot as easily and all that kind of stuff. So you just have to watch out for a couple more areas on the trailer than if it's closed.
What do you say to these good old boys out here that see female drivers driving and they still set in their own good old boy ways that you're not supposed to be out here, you're supposed to be at home cooking or Molly homemaker or you supposed to be in a whole different industry other than this one? Why? Well, what do you say to them?
Well, honestly, on a lot of those, it's kind of been like a half on half on like the responses. I've had some, good old country boys, very old school mindset that, as soon as they saw me pulling up to something, whether it was when I was with US Express or my company now doing flatbed, automatically, oh, here we go, another female doesn't know how to drive. She's not gonna be able to hit. Everyone watch your trucks, like the usual crap talking. And so when that happens, I'm a quiet person. I just, let them say whatever they want and just go about my day. And I'm the kind of person that kind of proves them wrong with my skills. So, I mean, I'll pick the difficult parking spots at truck stops or job sites or whatever, and, I'll make it work. And then it'll either go two ways. Like, wow, that's surprising. Or it'll be like, you know what? I spoke too soon. I apologize. And I get apologies for it, But for the most part, it's very split on whether they're like, oh, well, you just got lucky. Or, hey, I apologize. Obviously you can do the job. So it's been very, very 50-50 on that.
What do you think is your most embarrassing moment while driving?
Embarrassing moment? Shoot. I gotta think of that one. Oh, when I was in training, I clipped the front of a truck, and that was pretty embarrassing. Yeah, I own it because it happened. But I was at a truck stop, and at that time in the training, it was like team driving basically. And
Mm-hmm.
I was, I was pulling in to get fuel. I was super tired, and it's not an excuse, but I was getting fuel, so I was pulling in the truck stop, and it was normal, one of those small truck stops. People are lined around the curb, and they're like
Mm-hmm.
two or three past the end line for like the parking on the row. And I thought I had enough room when I was swinging, and it just clipped the very corner of like the light and the bumper and on a guy, and so that was kind of embarrassing. But on that one, I got really lucky because the guy was like, "Hey, it's my fault for being out here," and then another guy that saw it happen because it was like I don't know 1, 2 in the morning. Another guy came out and he was like, "Hey, just want to make sure he doesn't yell at you because he shouldn't be there." So I had a good experience with it, but it was still embarrassing because
All right.
no one likes messing up.
That's true. That's true. And then I'm assuming that was with U.S. Express, right?
Yeah, no, I haven't had anything since
They
like
did.
that. Yeah.
They didn't. Did they kind of like pulled you to the side or pulled you into safety and had a conversation with you?
Actually, no. I think because one, it wasn't reported. Be like we called the cops and everything, but they didn't file because the guy was, not where he was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't like file a report. Plus, I mean, I called them in. They knew everything that happened and all that stuff, and I actually never got a call. And my trainer was like, "Well, just it's good you got out of your system because everyone needs to hit something once." And
There
so
you
he's like,
go.
"You got out of your system when you're training. They know it's gonna happen, so nothing to worry about." And I actually didn't have any issues or problems or anything like that. I was never pulled in or anything like that. So I guess I got pretty lucky on that one.
That's what's up. That's what's up. What do you feel is
Yeah.
the hard? What do you feel is the hardest part about trucking? Do you think being away from your family, not making enough money, or backing up?
Well, I make pretty good money where I'm at. I miss my family a lot. But luckily, with technology now, it's a lot easier to stay in touch and check up with people. And I have family around the country, so if you're in the area, you get to stop and do like a 34 and visit family. Um, Backing can be a challenge in some places, but I'm fairly, like I said, knock on the wood on the door. I'm fairly confident with my backing, just because you do the drive-in reefer stuff, and then you do the OTR stuff, and then you learn the flatbedding. You kind of get experience in all styles, so you kind of learn to set up. And I'm the person that I mean, I'm starting my 6th year, and I still will get out and look if it's still questionable to me. So I have no problem being that person.
So with U.S. Express, you was company driver, or did you manifest from company to lease, or your company straight out?
Yeah, no, I've been company the entire time so far. I knew with US Express it wasn't somewhere I was gonna be for a long term. Um, the reason I picked them when I first started is because they were doing like tuition reimbursements. So they're basically paying off my loan for my license.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, I'll work here. And then I knew I didn't want to stay there permanently, so I didn't want to get involved with them with like a lease or owner op or anything. So I just, did the company thing. And then I'm still company driver, but eventually my goal is to go owner op.
Okay, okay, okay.
Hmm.
Has U.S. Express came to you and asked you to train for them like they did me?
Yeah, actually, when I think I hit like, was it
Six
like,
months.
yeah, I would say 6 to 8 month
Well,
mark.
they did
Um,
me in they did me in 3. So yeah, you
okay,
you
yeah,
got lucky.
they hit it up. They randomly brought it up one time when I was like first starting out. When I just got my truck, they're like, "Hey, would you ever be interested eventually?" And I was like, no. I'd like to learn it to drive by myself first."
I know
And
that's right.
and then like the 6th or 8th month, it was around there. They're like, "Hey, you qualify for training," and I was like, "I don't, because I don't feel like I have enough experience to tell someone else how to drive."
You said I
And
don't.
you know, and then it was just like they kept hitting me up like every few months, and they're like, "Well, we'd really use some girl or female trainers." And I was like, "Look, I'm sorry. Like, I understand why you're asking me, but one, if I offer someone help out on the road, they don't want to take my advice in the first place. I don't want to deal with that in my own truck, especially because I was younger than a lot of the drivers. and a lot of them don't want to listen to someone younger. And a lot of the personalities out there, I can get along with anyone, but that's not the case for some of the people coming into training, especially if they're older than you. They don't want to take advice from you. And then, especially if if you get a male trainee, they're not going to want to listen to a female half the time. There are rare occasions they'll, you know, accept the advice and help, but yeah, they hit me up a lot, and I just said, I'm sorry. One, I don't want a team, and two, I don't want to be responsible for someone else being passed on the road.
That's what's up.
Like
That's what's
I'm
up.
not passing them for them to get on the road if I'm not comfortable, but I'm not going to
Cool.
keep them in my truck for 6 months until I'm comfortable with them.
Cool. That's what's up, man. I told them I eventually I done it, but I only did it for
Hmm.
like a short time, maybe two drivers, and both of them was bad experience anyway. But I
Yeah.
I I pretty much got out of it. What advice? And again, Kelsey, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to
Yeah,
chop it
no
up
problem.
with me. I really do. What advice do you wish that you got before you started trucking, though?
Um, Probably the biggest one would just to kind of be confident in your abilities. When I first started, I wasn't a very confident individual in tons of areas, but I was just backing one time and someone was just laying on their horn and they're just being really impatient, even though I wasn't taking long at all. And I just kind of like something switched in me, and I was like, you know what? Screw you. The person in front of me got their time to back. You're gonna get your time to back. I'm taking my time. And so something like that just kind of switched. I didn't care what if anyone was watching. I didn't care how long it was taking. Obviously, if it was a difficult spot and I was blocking, tons of trucks, I would have moved. But if it's, the normal amount of time, I'm not being rushed. I was like, I'm not hitting something to be rushed because you guys are being jerks. So I would just say, just be willing to take your time and be willing to be like, hey, you're going to probably like PO a lot of people, but you're just going to have to deal with it and they'll get over it. And if not, then that's their problem. But out here, definitely taking your time is something that you should really, really be ready to get used to.
All right. Do you have do you let me uh-oh, sorry about that.
You're fine.
That kind of threw me off. Do you have do you why you out here driving and everything? You in your 6th year, you doing the damn thing. Have you
Mhm.
ever wanted to put have you ever wanted to put chronicle your trucking journey? Do you have a YouTube page or no?
I don't. I've been told multiple times I should start one, but I feel like I'm a very boring person, so I don't think it'd be very interesting to do. For people to watch. But I have been asked to do them quite often. But no, I don't have a YouTube channel with content or anything.
Oh, okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Stay away from it. Is just
I get brought into drama on YouTube, and I'm not even a part of it. So I'm if I did anything, it would just be, it wouldn't be like to teach anyone or so like tracking along with Kirsty. She's great with teaching people and helping, find their path on things. I'm the kind of person that I'm just very real. Like, yeah, it's gonna suck. You're gonna get told things, you're gonna get catcalled, you're gonna, all this other stuff. Be a realistic person and just, I'm not the person to go to for, the different um standards and qualifications on different things. Like I know how to do my job and all that stuff, but I'm definitely not one that's trying to help everyone get their license kind of person. Because
I
I feel like
got you.
there's people way better for that.
I got you. All right,
Yeah,
Kelsey. Thank you for showing up.
of course.
I do
Thank you.
appreciate it. So
Mhm.
the end goal for you would be to own your own truck. You're already 6 years in the game. You got tons of experience. Which and you said you want to be a owner operator. So which route are you taking now to achieve your goal of owner operator?
Um, well, honestly, control my shopping habit because I like to shop a lot. But I'm just like saving and looking at things, and I already know, I want to put a truck on with my company now because we have owner ops and company drivers here. So it'd be really easy transition to do that, and I want to stay doing what I'm doing with the flatbed because I enjoy it. So I'll definitely just get a truck and put it on here and do that.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
What should new people be doing to prepare for a trucking job?
Learn the rules and regulations. I know I just said I'm not going to teach them, but take your time in learning the rules and regulations because yeah, they'll help you pass the test, but you are going to run into some days where there's an officer that just is having a bad day and wants to bother you and going to ask you questions or going to ask you why something's not that way, and you need to know your stuff out here. So for not just your own passing inspections and stuff, but for your own safety, um it's just good to know like the rules and regulations and just like the basic common sense of driving in general, like leaving yourself space, looking around you, knowing where you're at, kind of thing. I think that'll help a lot for new drivers.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Well, Keasley. Kelsey, thank you very much for jumping on and hollering at me. So let's go ahead and end this little program right quick. Thank you, everybody, for joining us and chilling out with us. If you do like content like this and more, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, hit that bell and that all button. And if you want to come on and share your experience like my girl Kelsey here, just hit me up in the comments below and reach out to me, and we'll parlay. We will park and politic. That's what we're going to do. I appreciate it. If you guys, again, like this type of content over here, consider joining the channel. You know what I'm saying? Hook a brother up with some coffee. That's all it is. That's all I want. I just want something to drink. That's it. Y'all hook me up with some coffee. There's other tiers too, but the coffee, that's all I care about, man. Just hook a brother up with that. Until next time, everybody, me and Kelsey are gone.
This your year, get it in. Party over here, get it in. She like a liquor clear, get it in. She get it from a deal, get it in. Make it disappear, get it in. Park it in the rear, get it in. Now make it reappear, get it in. Freak it with no fear, get it in. Pop it in the clutch, girl, get it in gear. Jump on it, double dutch, girl, get it in gear. Drop it, double clutch, girl, get it in gear. Pump it up, butt lift, now downshift.